everyone and welcome to the Charlie's Nala YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how to encapsulate glitter sequins into acrylic. So I'm going to be using these iridescent AB long stars here. I'm just going to take them out of the packet and pop them into a little glitter tray so that you can see them a little better. Now, I absolutely love these. Just look how sparkly they are. I love anything with that iridescent effect, to be honest, but these are super, super pretty. So I thought I would do two quick and easy acrylic designs using them, just to give you guys a rough idea on how to use them and how pretty you can use them to incorporate them in an acrylic set. So to the first design, I'm going to come in with a blue coloured acrylic down at that cuticle area, placing that down at the cuticle and just fading it to roughly halfway down the nail. I don't want to take it all the way down to the tip of the nail, because I want the tip of the nail to be clear. So I'm just fading it out ever so slightly so that there's not a too harsh line there. Keeping it all nice and thin because we will be fully encapsulating this nail. And then I'm going to take a teeny tiny bead of clear acrylic and dip into those stars. And then I'm placing this down right where that blue finishes, and I'm going to kind of take them into a sweeping trail across the nail. And I'm leaving quite a bit of monomer in my brush so I'm able to move these pieces around. And then just using my wet brush, I'm going to dip back into those stars and pick up some more. I'm not picking up any additional acrylic because I've already placed that first bead of clear down, and that's just going to be sufficient enough to move these stars around and hold them in place until we encapsulate. But I am keeping a lot of monomer in my brush so that I'm able to move these stars to where I want them to be. When you are working with chunkier glitter shapes like this, it can be a little bit tricky. So you want to keep your brush nice and wet and only use minimal amounts of acrylic just to hold them in place, because if you add too much acrylic, it's going to end up a too bulky nail. So as you can see here, I'm just popping down any stars or where there's any little gaps, moving them around until I'm happy with how they're all placed and how the design looks. And one of the reasons why I don't want to add too much additional acrylic is because we are going to fully encapsulate this now in clear. And if you add too much clear acrylic when you're placing your stars down in place, then you're going to end up with an overall really bulky nail. So I'm adding my strength and structure when it comes to applying this encapsulation layer here. So because this nail is quite long, I've started down at that very tip of the nail, picking up a wet bead of clear acrylic, or I'd say medium to wet actually. I don't want it to be too dry because I want it to be able to flow and move over those chunky glitter stars quite easily. One of the things when you are working with these chunkier glitter mixes is they can stick up a little bit. So if you work with your clear acrylic a little bit wetter, it kind of just sinks and goes around them nicely. So I'm just working my way up the nail until that the nail is fully encapsulated, keeping my sidewalls as neat as possible, and I'm trying to keep my overall acrylic application as neat and as even as possible as well, because there's going to be minimal filing to do then. Making sure when I am applying this layer of clear that I'm building up my apex, so I'm building up that strength and structure of the nail. But you do want to make sure you have fully coated those stars or whatever glitter you're using with your clear acrylic with a thick enough layer so that you can file. I'm then going to pop that aside and we're going to do a second design. So on this one, I'm coming in with a pinky purple colour down at the cuticle area, placing that right down at the cuticle, tapping it up into place, and then I'm just fading it down the nail. Again, keeping the coloured acrylic nice and thin because we're going to be adding coloured acrylic and then glitter. Again, we're going to have to encapsulate, so we don't want to end up with a too bulky nail. Now I'm taking this roughly 3/4 of the way down the nail. I didn't need to take it all the way down to the tip of the nail because that's where I'm going to be applying my glitters. Now I'm going to be using those sequin stars, but I'm also going to be using this finer glitter mix, which is also from Charlie's Nail Art. I believe this one is called Unicorn, but I will double check, and as always, I'll leave a link in the description box below to the products. So I again dipped into my clear acrylic, picked up a small wet bead of clear, and then I'm dipping straight into that fine glitter mix, placing that down at the very tip of the nail and then feathering it back to create a glitter fade. And then I'm going to dip into my stars and place them on top. But before doing that, I'm going to pick up a teeny tiny wet bead of clear acrylic and just place it over that glitter, just so that it's wet enough for me to be able to pick up my individual stars and stick them down. Now, by placing that finer glitter mix down behind our chunkier stars, it just means we can create an overall more sparkly design. So there's lots of different ways you can use these stars, and I just kind of wanted to show you guys how they look when they're used on their own and how they can look with another glitter placed behind them. Again, I'm not picking up any additional acrylic. I'm setting them down in that tiny bead that we placed down because we don't want to make the nail too bulky. And then once again, I'm going to come in and encapsulate. So again, I'm keeping my encapsulation bead on the medium to wet side so that it flows around all of those chunkier glitter pieces nicely. And because of the length of the nail, I'm doing it in several beads. A lot of nails that you're going to do in salon especially are going to be a lot shorter than this, so it's going to be a lot easier when it does come to encapsulating. But like I said in the first design, one of the main things you need to focus on when you are encapsulating is that you're building up the strength and the structure of the nail. But when you are working with anything that's nail art wise, you need to make sure you're fully encapsulating it so that when it comes to filing, you don't file into it or file it off. Now, these stars are absolutely beautiful. I have so many of the sequin shapes from Charlie's Nail Art in my collection, and they're just a fun way to add a pop of something different to your nail art designs. And on the Charlie's Nail Art website, there are so many of these different sequin shapes to choose from. The stars are, to be honest, one of my favorites because you can incorporate them in so many different designs. So off camera, I did file and buff the two nails and wiped over them with acetone so that we can jump straight to top coating and reveal the sparkliness of these glitters. So I'm using a gel top coat. I'm just going to apply a thin coat of this to the entire nail, and then I'll pop them in to cure for 60 seconds. Now guys, I do also have a discount code which I will leave linked in the description box below as well, which will get you 10% off your Charlie's Nail Art order. So do pop that in and save yourself some pennies if you are ordering. Now if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe, as there's lots of videos coming using the Charlie's Nail Art products and showing you different techniques, different ways that you can use them with both acrylic and gel polish. So do keep an eye out on the channel for more amazing designs. So this is what the finished result looked like, really quick and really simple, and that's why I love these glitter sequins. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.